do not accept job promotions, and here's why. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining exactly why you should never accept a job promotion within the corporate workplace, especially if you are trying to escape the 9 to 5 to go on to build your own business, which is what I always wanted to do. I never, ever wanted to remain in the system and always be told what to do for the rest of my life, working 5 days a week to only enjoy 2 days. And that happens until you're 68 years old, to then hopefully take a pension, to then hopefully live for another 12, 15, 20 years tops to enjoy a small pot. That was never for me. So let me remind you in this video, the corporate world is a trap. It really is. We've been told our entire lives to go through the school system, to put our hand up, ask when to be spoken to, failing is bad, and that you have to do as you are told, go through the educational system, go and get a job and serve society and the economy. You don't have to do it like that. Times have changed. So this video is the harsh reality, and I know some people won't like this who are in a job, and there's nothing wrong with jobs, by the way, but I just didn't want to remain in one myself, so it might resonate with you. And this is exactly why a job promotion is going to hinder your chances of escaping to live a life that is more purposeful and fulfilling, and one that you can really take ownership and responsibility for your life and your family's life, and you're not dependent on some employer, you know, being at the mercy of the hand that feeds you. I mean, what kind of life is that? I just knew I always wanted out. So look, why should you never accept a promotion in the workplace? You are just a number. Now, I know some people don't like to hear that, but you are. Regardless of the time that you've spent, the years that you've invested, the promotions that you may or may not have accepted, the work that you have dedicated to that company, the bottom line is you are a number. You are replaceable. And to all those individuals that turn around and say, no, not me, the harder you work, I've served my employer, you make yourself irreplaceable. It doesn't exist. Everyone's replaceable. You are an expense on a filing sheet at the end of the financial year, and the company and the board of directors and the CEOs and CFOs sit down and they go, right, can we afford to keep these people? Do we need a company restructure? My old company used to do it all the time. They give you some cock and ball to why they're getting rid of people. They do a mass redundancy, and it was all because of profit and loss. Can they afford you? Can they not? Doesn't matter about your promotions and the time you've invested. So that's number one. You are just a number. And then there is the fact that you are replaceable. You know, every single person that works within the corporate world, there's always someone else that could be brought in to do that job. And your job will always be replaced within 5 working days. You lose your job for whatever reason, performance review, HR, gross misconduct, you get sacked, redundancy, someone else comes in days later. So all those years that you spent, you're replaceable. You know, you are always building someone else's dream. This is one of my big points. Imagine going home. And I used to think this, I used to go home from my job and I used to think, I've just given 10 hours of my time that wasn't really valued, I wasn't really respected, they don't serve us. And I've just been building someone else's dreams. I've been implementing processes that are going to be used by that company forevermore to benefit them and make them more money. And I come home and I think, I've just contributed to their next Lamborghini or their next holiday with their family. Why shouldn't I be, I should be working on my own dreams. And also you limit your own capabilities. When you are going into a system and you've kind of been programmed to think that you are just good at one thing, you almost forget that you have other capabilities. It's like when you go into an interview, I find it bizarre really, because you have to pretend that that one role that you're going for is the only thing that you're good at. And you can't really talk about all your other like areas of expertise, creativity that you have, your entrepreneurial spark, because if you do, they just see you as a threat. So you have to make out you're a little bit dumb and you can just do that one task. And then if you actually accept that job and you only do that one task, you actually forget that you have other capabilities. And I was just like, no, I'm loud, I'm confident, you know, I love sales, I love talking to people, I've got creativity, I think outside the box. You're suppressed in the 9 to 5. You also become dependent on one income. People get comfortable, you know, they're paid their check, they get given their holiday, they get a little pension contribution, they get some other company perks, they get pizza and Domino's delivered like once a week, and they're happy as Larry. And you just become dependent on that one income, and you're putting yourself at risk, your family at risk. You know, if you're not bringing in multiple streams of income, where's the diversification? It's like investing. You don't just invest in one thing, you do it in several pots. And yet, if the company finds out that you are trying to diversify and bring in more streams of income other than your job, they don't like it because you are a threat. You are a potential entrepreneur, and they don't like that. They want someone who is going to turn up, be a yes man or a yes woman, do as you're told, and not seek any other kind of income. So you are limiting your capabilities. You are putting yourself at a massive risk, and you are always open to redundancy. This is something I've had a conversation with a few people, and people are in denial that, no, I've never been made redundant. My company's super, super strong. But you don't control the company. You have no say in the company's actions, whether they fold, whether they make a big mistake, whether they lose a massive client, whatever it might be. You don't have control of that. You can't control the controllables by working for someone else. So you could be made redundant. And for all those that say, well, no, it wouldn't happen to me, it's a denial insecurity thing. You could. So look, why should you never accept a responsibility? I want to give you 5 reasons why you should never accept it, especially if you're looking to escape, right? So, increased responsibilities and time commitment. What I've come to realize as I've gotten older is time is of the essence. Time is super precious. You can't buy time, you can only spend it. So I really value where and who I spend time with. And I was really hyper aware of this in my last job, that I was exchanging 10 hours. I was going to a place I didn't really want to. I was working with people I didn't really want to work with, and that I wasn't being paid accordingly to the capabilities that I actually knew I had. So it kind of bothered me. Therefore, I never accepted overtime, and I didn't want the promotion because it would force me to commit to a company that isn't mine, and that I would have to have additional responsibilities for, quite frankly, the pay that doesn't match those responsibilities. You know, if you look at someone who's earning 25 grand to the individual that's then earning 28 or 30, for the additional responsibilities, when we actually bring it down to the net income, you are talking minor difference. Therefore, it was never really worth it. My time would always be spent elsewhere working on myself, which had more value in it. You know, I got a better return on my time invested working on myself outside my 9 to 5 than being paid an additional, you know, £5–10 an hour or taking overtime. It's just not worth it. Your time is so important, and I feel that the system, the workplace, it blinds you to the fact that you are actually worth more than 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pound an hour. I mean, it's just mad. Like, if you've got experiences and knowledge in your life, you could exchange that for far more than 10 to 12, 15 pound an hour. Now, deeper and dangerous financial dependence. Lifestyle changes when you earn more money and you become obsessed with titles. I've seen it many times. When people earn more money in the workplace and they get a promotion, they can become pompous, bit of a bigot. They become obsessed with their title. They then find it very hard to ever go down to another title in another job. They get this proud chest. I'm a regional manager, general manager, superior. I'm a director. And it goes to their heads. And then they earn like another 5, 10, 15 grand on their salary. And then their lifestyle starts to go up. Because they have this employee mindset, the more they earn, the more they spend. They don't have that sort of, you know, looking after the money, live on less, invest the rest, build something which has longevity and that, you know, you're really going to reap the rewards, you know, sowing a seed so that you can have shelter from the tree years down the line. They get used to spending more. So the lifestyle habits change and you become more dependent on the employer because now they're paying you more money. So your time commitment is more, and then your priorities start to change, which is what we're going to come on to. So I think it's a really bad thing where people become obsessed with their titles. They go from supervisor, general manager, regional manager. It goes to their heads and then they think they're better than everyone else. No one's better than anyone else. If you're a regional manager and then there's a cleaner, you're both human beings and you both bleed the same. The respect level should never change. But we all know this, in the corporate world, if you have a big fancy title, you think you're better than the cleaner and you can talk down to them. It's not acceptable. And number 3 is losing sight of your own goals and dreams. When you work for someone else for long enough, you become almost institutionalized where you only see their goals. You only see that company. You become obsessed with that company. You become committed. You overinvest and you forgot about all those dreams that you ever had. You know, when you were younger and, you know, you were a kid and you were thinking of being a footballer or a pilot or all these kind of things that you wanted to do, vanished, gone. You don't even remember them. And I think that's really sad because we have so much that we can do. Like, we can push ourselves. The world has so many opportunities for us and we just forget about it because we've been serving someone else and you've overcommitted and you've just put everything else that you wanted, that your family wanted, you and your partner, these big dreams of traveling and doing this and doing that and really living life. It gets parked up, forgotten about. And it's like when people say there are $1 million and $1 billion ideas in the graveyard. But people never went ahead and did them. There were people that had all these fantastic ideas and they never came to fruition and they just died with them. And now they're in the graveyard. You lose sight of your priorities, spending time with family, you get obsessed with the higher paid salary, and you would neglect your wife, your husband, your kids, because you've had to commit to an employer. And I think it's really sad. And number 4 is a greater risk of being trapped. The higher you go up in a promotion, the limited job roles there are of the promotions, right? The promotions that you've accepted. Therefore, people below you are now snapping at your heels to get that job role because that's what they think they want. So now you have to perform at a higher level. You have to commit to that company. You have to show willing to be there all the time. Pick up the phone on the weekends. Have the work phone in the pocket even when you're going on holiday. Being on call. Expectations are higher and stress levels increase. And therefore there's this greater risk of you losing yourself as a human being. I've seen many, many men who they become shadows of the guys that they once were when they were the supervisor, the general assistant, the shelf stacker when they were happy, they had banter and they were enjoying life. They become shells. And you see the change, and you see them losing hair, and you see the wrinkles and the stress, and you see it really taking a toll, which brings me on to my next point, which is number 5, increase of mental health issues is on the rise when it comes to the workplace. And this pretty much stems from that corporate ladder climb. People who go up. I won't mention his name, but I knew one guy in my old place. He had a lot of hair when he started, and he ended up being regional manager. And he looked after about 4 or 5 sites. He was on antidepressants. He was going through a divorce where I think was a big cause from the commitment he had to make to his employer. He was only on about 95 grand a year. 95 grand a year. You could earn that in your own business if you put the work and the time in and believe in yourself. And he spoke with me one day, very out of the blue, sort of opened up to me, and he said, I'm really struggling. I probably won't be here. I just wanted to say that I'm probably going to be leaving the company because I've got to a point where I'm becoming so ill and my mental health is taking such a toll, I can't remain in this job. And I was gobsmacked, but I really understood where he was coming from, and I got it. I really understood. And I said to him, how's your family taking it? And he's like, I'm going through a divorce. And he'd been with the company like 4 or 5 years, and I don't know the ins and outs, but I think he's probably neglected. The money took over, even though it's only 95 grand. And look, 95 grand for some people is a lot of money, but you're only talking that's like maybe 3,800, 4 grand net a month, whatever it is. It's not worth it. The biggest flex in life is time freedom. And you can get that from building a business, especially a lifestyle business, which you can do in today's day and age, and then enjoying memories. I find it fascinating and bizarre that, you work 5 days to enjoy 2 days off, and then you get given anywhere from 10 to 28 days holiday a year. What? And then when you go for a promotion, you are required to be there more, on call. Imagine having to pick up your phone and you're sitting on a sunny beach in Mallorca, Alcudia, sandy beaches, and your work's phone's going off. And you thought you had to take it because you had this apprehensiveness and this anxiety feeling that if you didn't, people would be talking about you in the workplace. So mental health is just going through the roof. You can look at studies like on Gallup's, and 85%, this was a study done last year, 85% of working adults in the UK hate their job. That's 43 million working adults. That's nuts. So my solution and my advice to you is, if you want more from life, do not accept the promotion. Just like I didn't. Aaron, you going for a promotion? No. Aaron, what's the game plan when it comes to your development in this workplace? I'm happy doing what I'm doing right now, because I was building a business at the time. They didn't need to know that. I fulfilled the contracted roles. I was doing what I needed to do. Leave me alone. I don't want to go for a promotion. Stop pushing me. Stop peer pressuring me to climb this corporate trap ladder that I don't want to go onto. I'm rooting for all of you. There's so much to life to be had. Don't crush your own dreams by building someone else's. Just think about it. Design your life or be assigned one. Make a plan or you'll be given a plan. Position yourself in a market that you choose to build, or the market will position you. It's the whole saying of choose your hard. Being broke is hard, being rich is hard. Staying in a job you don't like is hard. Building a business that's going to give you great fulfillment is hard. Choose your hard. If you can resonate with this, or you liked this video, please do let me know in the comments below. It means a lot to me and I'll get back to all of you. And again, please do hit like and subscribe. Until the next video, I will see you all very soon.